Okay, well, tomorrow is your 65th wedding anniversary, and I know Saturday night at our celebration, you shared some stories about when you first met, and unfortunately, no one was able to record that. So I'm asking if you will just kind of reshare those stories, and what's going to be actually nicer this time is that I want Mom to pipe in and give her recollections as well. Um, so just why don't you just start and just share what you did Saturday night, Dad, and interject other things as they come to mind, and um, just we want to hear your story on 65, maybe 67 years ago when you first met.
Yes. Jane and I met uh, about 67 years ago at the Milwaukee Bible Institute. Now it's Grace Bible College in Grand Rapids. At the end of my first semester, because I started school in January, I volunteered to help her uh, load some of her things from school and all in her dad's car so she could go home for the summer vacation. Her father, Papa Gep, quickly recognized my interest in his daughter. After I left, Papa Gep told her that if she wanted to, she could marry me someday.
Mom, what did you? I'm just
And
going to stop you. What did you
and
think
I
of that,
said
Mom?
to Dad, I said, oh, I said, Dad, I said, he's just, a guy from California, nice guy, but I says, we haven't gone out or anything. But my dad was a wise man.
He sure was.
He saw me oogling.
Oogling was the word. Okay.
Well, I don't hide. I try to hide my emotions, but I can't do it. I show them anyway. Uh, about 1.5 years later is when I was convinced she really cared for me. When on Valentine's Day, I'm the big spender. I gave her a new fountain pen, but she gave me a picture of herself.
I'd like to explain that. Because you had told me in January, fact is it was January 11th that you said that you loved me. And I said, well, I think I love you too, but I'm not sure. But then by Valentine's Day, I knew, yeah, he's the one. So then I had the picture made for him.
Yeah.
That's how that came about.
Okay.
And that I knew then that she cared for me, and that's one of my pride possessions. I've got that picture hanging in my office on the wall
Okay.
to this day.
Huh.
The dating rules at Milwaukee Bible Institute were very strict. There was no touching, not just no kissing, but no touching, no holding of hands. In order to be alone, we could at least hold hands. We would ride the streetcar to the end of the route and back. We didn't have a car. Sometimes we'd go to the local Schroeder Hotel that had a mezzanine or a balcony that overlooked the lobby. One of the streetcar stops was at the Schroeder Hotel. At the Schroeder, we could sit, hold hands, and study our lessons. By the way, the Schroeder was not some rundown old hotel. Today, this is a 3-star, 3AA, 4-diamond hotel boasting nearly 90 years of impeccable service and attention to detail. It was built in a city famous for its brewing companies. Of the historic Wisconsin Hotel was opened during the Prohibition days of Al Capone's residence there, thus playing a steamroll in the city's vibrant history. Schroeder purchased the building for $7 million in 1927, and by the time it opened, it was Wisconsin's tallest hotel. By the way, I had pictures of that hotel, the balcony where I proposed to her, which was, she's the most beautiful and talented student at Milwaukee Bible Institute in my mind. Yes, yes. That's the picture of her.
This is the picture Mom gave you.
Yes.
But that wasn't really the beginning.
It
That
was
ride on Christmas Eve of '49, and I took the train to go to back home for Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And Dad was going to speak at a church, I think, in Alton, Illinois.
Okay.
Christmas Day was on a Sunday, and then
Mm-hmm.
the next day he came back on Monday. But going to on the way home, that's when you took my hand and we held hands sitting there in the train. And
Yeah.
there was our first encounter. Of course, but we had walked together and everything, back
Mm-hmm.
and forth to the Dorbs and all. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, I thought, well, he's a nice guy, and I think he likes me. But anyway, that's the way it really began.
Well,
In '49,
There's a question mark over it.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
you
yeah.
gave me that
yeah. And
that
then,
picture, that's when I knew that.
yeah,
Hmm.
That I was dating Marilyn Dean,
I know.
and I had to write her a Dear John letter.
Or a Dear Marilyn letter.
Yeah, because before we progressed any further with our relationship. And anyway, Sunday afternoon, April 30th, 1950 was one of those occasions that we were on the mezzanine of the Schroeder Hotel. Our Bible reading assignment was Psalm 34, and I began reading. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. Then I stopped reading and asked her, will you? And she said, what? I repeated, will you magnify the Lord with me and exalt his name together? And she's a smart woman, and she knew that I was proposing marriage. I shall ever be thankful that she said yes. And by the way, she's the one that remembered the name of the motel and the date. She remembers all those things. With such a start as that, you might think we had 65 years of happy marriage, but that's not the case. A happy marriage sometimes takes years to develop. People that are in the business of helping couples get together advertise the importance of compatibility. But we believe that the saying, opposites attract, works best. I started out expecting Jean to be compatible and trying to conform her to my expectations, to be like me and want and do what I wanted. I wanted to be a pastor, and I saw her as a wonderful pastor's wife, the most beautiful and talented gal at Milwaukee. It took me 3 or 4 years to accept that her vast I got my nose picked up.
Uh-oh.
I got my nose picked up. What I do? Well, our vast differences were a blessing and not a curse. Now I thank God for her, pray for her every day, praying for each other, accepting each other just as we are. These are the important essentials for a successful marriage. My own father was not a good example of being a good husband or father, so it was Jean's father, Papa Gep, and her brother Dwayne that really taught me how to be a good father and husband. The great example that they set was inspirational. We're especially glad that some of Mom and Dwayne's family were with us.
Tonight.
Yeah, that on that night, to be able to express to them how much their parents made a difference in us. When Cheryl was about 9 years old, Jean and I returned to Chicago after having lived a difficult 9 months in California, and then about
9 months old. Yeah. Didn't you say years?
He did. I was 9 months old.
Yes.
9 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Did I say years? and 3 months in Alabama, where I just couldn't get an acceptable job, and so we turned to Chicago without any money and without a job. And Dwayne and Maud were renting an apartment and invited us to live with them for a short time. And we stayed with them until the landlord discovered we were there and told Maud and Dwayne we had to move.
It wasn't that long ago that we were with them.
I don't know how
Couple
long.
months
it was.
maybe.
Hmm?
A couple months maybe.
Couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't long.
It wasn't long, no.
Because it was Dwayne that recommended me for the job at Alice Chalmers.
Yeah, I know.
And I stayed there about 7 years, and then later it was
Her brother
Maud's
Paul
brother
did
Fred
that,
the
yeah.
gave word for me that I could get into Reynolds, where I worked for 32 years. So I owe really a lot to Maud Dwayne. Our marriage race is in the home stretch. Well, others here have a few more years to go. So we urge you to keep running. Keep your eyes on the Lord and His purpose for you. Psalm 138 says, "The Lord will fulfill His purpose for me. Your steadfast love, O Lord, endures forever." We believe firmly that God has a distinct purpose for each of us. The sunset of our purposeful adventure together is drawing near. But we have a wonderful day ahead when together we shall see our Savior face to face. Brings to mind the song by John Peterson. And you played that as I read it. Over the sunset mountains, someday we'll softly go into the arms of Jesus, He who has loved us so. Over the sunset mountains, heaven awaits for us. Over the sunset mountains, Jesus, our Savior, will see. Toiling will all be ended. Shadows will flee away. Sorrow will be forgotten. Oh, what a wonderful day. Over the sunset mountain, heaven awaits for us. Over the sunset mountains, Jesus, our Savior, we see. We don't normally agree with anything Hillary Clinton says, but she says one thing that we agree with. She said it takes a village, and that is so true. Our successful 65-year marriage is a result of God's blessings and of His allowing us to be partners with all of you. Thank you all so much for being here and helping us complete 65 wonderful years. Yes.
That was good. Oh, thank you. Anything that you want to add, or Mom, that you want to add to that?
Well, the first 3 or 4 years, the main problem there was I was pregnant a couple of times. I'm sick. I'm not able to hardly get out of bed with all the heaving and
Yeah. But I was very selfish.
I lost
We
weight
didn't
instead
say
of
that
gain weight.
there, but
No,
I was wanting to be a pastor,
yeah.
and you told me what?
I said, you can't love a lost world when you don't love your own family. And I said, I would not go across the street to hear you preach because you're a hypocrite.
Yes.
Whew.
I can have a mouth when it's necessary.
And and right after that is when I got a call to the church in Cadillac. And not only did she go across the street, she left her family in Chicago and took Cheryl and
And
new
David.
baby David
Yes, he was just about.
and went
couple
to
months old.
Cadillac. And it was there at Cadillac that I realized that I wasn't called to be a pastor. I'd made a commitment to the Lord.